Hey everyone, I just had to make this video today about how to finance a car. The reason why I needed to make it today and not wait any longer is because I just finished helping out another person with their credit, and we ran his credit report. It's not that we ran his credit, but we checked his credit report. And lo and behold, there were five hard inquiries that showed up that he was not aware of, and it showed up because he went to go purchase a car back in, I think, October, November. Right now, when you buy a car, when you go and buy a car, and you fill out the form, you give your social security number, date of birth, name, and all that, and then the sales rep goes to the back and says, "I'll be back. Let's see what we can do for you." What they're doing is they're running your credit. And many times what happens is, and they don't even tell you for the most part, is that they're going to run your credit several times. All right. Now, that is not good. All right. Number one, it's not good that they didn't disclose this. Number two is having too many hard inquiries on your credit report is going to bring your points down. All right. So this individual who I spoke with today wasn't even aware of it. He has the car. And he's in the process of buying a house right now. So we checked his credit, right? And he just didn't know that they ran his credit five times. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video once again is because he is just the latest of many people who, when we checked their credit reports, there's all these hard inquiries from when people buy cars and they have no idea. I had this one guy about 2 months ago, maybe. He came in with his son-in-law, and he had about 35 hard inquiries. Okay, and most of them were from he's purchased 3 or 4 cars in the last 2 or 3 years. All right, and every time there was one dealership that he went to that checked his credit 7 times. 7 times. That's insane, right? Another dealership that he went to checked it maybe 6 times, right? And he's applying for credit cards here and there. I told him to not do that anymore because having that many hard inquiries on your credit is not the best thing in the world. But what I wanted to show everybody today is just an easier way of how to finance your car. All right, and many people don't know this, and many people should take advantage of this because not only can you save a lot of money, not only can you help out your credit, but also you're going to be saving a lot of time. And I think more importantly is that you're going to have peace of mind. You're going to know exactly what you're going to be paying for even before you purchase the car, right? Because you know how sometimes at the dealership, you're there, you're like in the heat of the moment, you have somebody and you have the sales rep telling you, "Hey, come on, this is a good deal." And sorry, I got an itch over here. This is a good deal, and you said that you can make these payments, so let's just lock this in, right? So to avoid all that, all right, because I know that it could be, some people don't know how to get out of that situation, right? When they're in front of somebody and they've shaken their hand and say, "Okay, we got a deal," you feel like you're obligated to close on it, right? So what I want to go over is something that I just learned. Actually, I've known about this for a while, but I just kind of solidified it yesterday. I confirmed it when I went to a local Bank of America branch and I spoke with one of the representatives over there who was absolutely fantastic. Basically answered all my questions when it came to auto financing and just confirmed what I already knew, right? So let me go over this, right? So on the board over here, you're going to see how to finance a car. You're going to see I was working on some math before I started this video. And I did another video about interest, how interest equals principal rate, how interest equals principal times rate times time. So I equals P times R times T. In other words, I equals PRT, all right? Want to go over how you can just, you can purchase a property and just have your credit just checked once, so it's just one hard inquiry. We're going to go over the price, closing costs, and gap insurance. First I want to begin by saying that not too many people know that you do not have to go to the dealership to get your loan, to get your auto financing, right? You can get your dealership online. I mean, you can get your financing online. And especially if you already have a bank that you work with, that maybe you have a checking or savings account with, or even a credit card with, all right, they can assist you. So There's banks out there like Capital One, like Bank of America, like Wells Fargo, like Ally Financial. Credit unions are big with this. They're great, and they give amazing rates. And the great thing about it is that you're not going to be surprised by the rates that they're going to give to you. Not like when you go to a dealership, right? And you don't know what rate they're going to give you. All you've told them is what is what are you comfortable with paying on a monthly basis. So they'll play with the numbers, all right? So would you rather have somebody else play with your numbers, or you play with your own like monthly amounts, right? So if it was me, it would be me. Like I want to be in control of that. All right. So what you want to do is number one is like, let's say you have a checking account with Bank of America, or even a credit card with Bank of America. When you go on your app or when you go online, all right, you most likely see some sort of advertising for auto loans. Okay. So go on there, all right, and apply. All right, apply. Now, the way that it works is like this. It's you go on there, all right. You put in your social security number, date of birth, your information. They're gonna ask you probably like how much you make and all that. But remember, they're really not like when you buy a car at a dealership, right? They're not gonna ask you for documents. You're just gonna put your information in there, and they're gonna say, okay, well, you're approved to buy, up to $35,000 for a car, okay, or up to 30,000. It can be more. All right. What you can also do is, if you know what car it is, okay, you can go to a local bank. All right. If you prefer to do that, and you can speak with a sales rep there. Let's say once again that bank is Bank of America. You can speak with the sales rep there. You can say, hey, look, I have my eyes on this Toyota Corolla. It's going for $26,000, and I just want to know if I could get the financing. Okay, they'll run your credit. All right, just do one hard inquiry, and they say, yeah, you are a qualifier for this car, or they can even just say, hey, if you want to buy a car that's bigger, or that's more expensive, you can do that because now you're qualified for up to 35,000. So let's just use that $35,000 as an example, right? So let's say you are approved to buy a car for $35,000, right? So what's going to happen is when you go to, let's say, Honda, right, and you want to get a Honda Civic, all right, you are basically going in there as somebody who's paying cash for that car, okay? There's no wheeling and dealing. You're not going over, like, you don't know what the finance, I mean, like, you're not hoping to know, like, what the financing is. You already know what it is, right? So let's say the bank says to you, Bank of America, all right, has given you up to $35,000, and they told you that your rate is going to be at 4%. Okay? Now, the other great thing with working with these banks, all right, is that they're going to give you the option, all right, of how long you want the loan for, right? Do you want it for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years? Now, remember, the shorter the amount of years, then the less the interest rate you have. The greater, then you're gonna have a higher interest rate, okay? Because you're gonna have you're gonna have a longer loan. Banks are gonna wanna make more from this. Remember, you're not buying a house here, right? You're buying a vehicle which depreciates in value, right? So, and banks are aware of this. That's why they see it more risky. It's not like buying a house and you get a 30-year loan and it's a fixed rate. You're gonna get the same with a car, but depending on the year. So like let's say for 4% for 5 years, right? All right, and 4.5% for 6 years, right? And let's say 5.5% for 7 years. So now you know already, what percentage you're going to be paying when you purchase this car, right? So let's say you buy the Corolla, okay, and it's going for exactly $26,000, okay? Let's just give it that number, 26,000. And then you find out that the closing costs, right, all those fees that you have to pay, those closing fees that you have to pay. What is it? Taxes, like the DMV fees, registration fees, all that stuff. Let's say it comes out to $1,500. So now you have, right, 26,000 plus 1,500, right? So over here is $27,500. So this is what you're going to be financing, right? But guess what? Because you have this, you will be paying just this from just the 27,500 from the 35,000. So you're not going to need the other $7,500 because that's the difference between this and this amount. All right, you're not going to need the other one. Now, the great thing with utilizing this is that when you go to the dealer and you do this, right, you don't have to put any money down, right? Why? Because everything is financed. You can finance everything. You know how sometimes you have to put, 5% down, 10% down, 20% down of a car. If your credit is good enough, and if it's not, let me know. I can help you out, right? And if your credit is good enough so that you're qualified for this, for this amount, or even more, okay, you can go to a dealership, but it's got to be a Honda, Toyota, Ford, Kia, right? It cannot be, unfortunately, one of those like used auto places where it's a little, lot that's rented at the corner of, of the hood or something like that, right? That's, and maybe, the owner of that business has 15 cars there and they're all used. You can't finance those cars. They got to be from a dealership. They could be used cars as well. Remember, if they're used cars, these rates will be higher also. This is an example for new cars, okay? So just imagine that, right? Your credit score is just good enough so that you can go into a dealership and and come with no money out of pocket, none whatsoever, right? Why? Because you're covered. So what's going to happen is your bank is then going to say, okay, well, you don't need the whole 35,000. You just need 27,500, and the car's yours. Great. You leave the dealership with a car. You didn't pay any money out of pocket, right? But the great thing about this is that you know how much you're going to be paying. So now we're going to go to the I equals PRT, right? And we're going to make this so that you understand like what your monthly payment is going to be and you're comfortable with it because it's affordable for you, right? So now that you know that it's going to be 27,500, let's play with these numbers. So remember, we're at 4%. I'm going to write this over here, 4.5%, and then 5.5%, right? Just so I don't forget, right? So for 5, 6, 7 years, okay? And let's do this math. I love this part because I like math. All right, so 27,500, right? So once again, we want to know what the monthly payments are going to be. And remember, you can do this before you go to the dealership because you're going to know that you want that Corolla or you want that minivan or you want that Honda Civic or you want that RAV4 or you want that truck. Whatever, you're going to know what the price is. You're also going to know what the closing fees are going to be, all right? You could call up the dealership and say, hey, just call them on the phone. Hey, I'm thinking about buying this car. Like, what do I have to pay to close this, so I can, drive the car, so I can take the car with me today. And they're probably going to ask you on the phone, hey, are you going to finance? No, I'm going in paying cash. They don't know that you're really financing it, but basically, you're going to go in there like with a check, all right? With something saying, hey, I have the cash to pay. You really don't have the cash, you're financing it, but in their eyes, it's cash, okay? So check this out. Like, this is the great part, and I just spoke with somebody about this, and they're like, you could do this? I'm like, yes, it could be done. So, all right, so once again, interest equals principal times rate times time, right? All right, so we were at 27,500. So very simple. The principal is 27,500, right? Times the rate, which is 4%. So we have to convert that into a number. Okay, 0.04 times the time. Remember, we had this at 5 years because this is 5, 6, and 7 years. So this is times 5, right? So what is the math over here? 27,500 times 0.04 equals times 5 equals, so it's $5,500, right? Okay, $5,500. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add $27,500 with $5,500, right? Why? Because now that we know what the interest is, right? Because what we did is we multiply the principal times the rate times the time, times the time, and we got the interest of what you're gonna pay on this loan for 5 years, right? So now you add that to what the original principal is, what you're paying for the car and for the closing fees, and now we have over here 163, right? $33,000, right? Now because it's for 5 years, divided by, there's 60 months in 5 years, right? So divided by 60. So this comes out to $550 per month, all right? So now you know that if you're gonna get this car at that 4% interest rate, right, for 5 years, you're gonna be paying $550 per month, right? So let's erase this, and we're gonna do the other examples real quick, right? So then this equals $550, per month. Okay. So now let's do this one over here. So 27,005. Oops. So 27,500 times 0.045, right? Times what? 6 years, right? What does that equal? All right. So 27,500 times 0.045 equals times 6 equals 7425. That's the interest right there. And then you add the 27,500 to that, right? Plus 27500. So now this is 34,925. And then we divide that now for 6 years, right? So how many months are in 6 years? 72, right? So it's 34,925 divided by 72. So that equals $485 a month, okay? So now we know this is $485 per month, okay? So now let's do this last one over here, right? So once again, $27,500 times, what's the rate? 5.5. Let's convert that to a number, 0.055, all right? Now times, how many months in 7 years? 84. Once again, not all banks will offer this because sometimes 7 years is too long, but there are some banks that do offer this, okay? So let's do the math over here. So 27, oops, no, not 84, 7, right? So 27,500, right, times 0.055, right, times 7 years, that comes up to 10,587, and then you add that to 27,500, right? So that's 87, 0, 1, 8, and 3. So then this amount, 38,087, you divide that by 84, right? Because there's 84 months in 7 years. So that comes out to $453 for a monthly payment. All right. So you see what we did over here, okay? All we did is apply this basic mathematical formula. This is what banks do. This is what auto dealerships do. This is what the finance people do over at your local Honda, Ford, Kia, Toyota, whatever. They do these numbers quickly. So Now you know when you are going to go buy that car that you already want, you're gonna know if you're okay with paying 550, or if you're okay with paying 485, or if you're okay with paying 453, and you're gonna know for how many years. You're gonna be paying $550 for 5 years. You're gonna be paying $485 for 6 years, or you're gonna be paying $453 for 7 years. All this, once again, is dependent on what you are approved for when you contact, once again, that bank, when you contact that Ally Auto or Capital One Auto Finance or Bank of America Auto Finance or Wells Fargo, or once again, the really good ones. I mean, they're all really good, but the ones who are known for giving these really great auto loans are credit unions, right? That you can find them all over the place, right? So just remember that, and remember also, it's just one hard inquiry on your credit report. So it's not like you're gonna go to the dealership and they're gonna run your credit, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, right? You already had your credit run, and once again, the dealership is like, you're going in there saying that you have cash. That's that. They're not going to run your credit. They're not going to ask for social security numbers or anything like that. They're just going to say, oh, they're going to open up the door, roll out the red carpet for you. Why? Because you're a buyer. You have cash, right? Cash is king, okay? So we went over the price and the closing costs, how you can include them both in the financing, all right? Now, I'm 100% sure about that. One thing I'm not 100% sure, and I think it also depends on each bank that gives you the financing for the car, is the gap insurance, all right? So what I've always done is, whenever I purchase a new car, and I've always purchased new cars, I always get gap insurance. For people who don't know what gap insurance is, it's basically you pay for the insurance up front, and what it is, it's just in case something happens to the car insurance. So remember, when you buy that Toyota, what did I say, Honda Civic for for $26,000, right? All right, all right. And let's say a year and a half from now it gets stolen, and it's a total loss. All right, I can't do anything about it. What happens is that a year and a half from now, I'm already a year and a half into making my monthly payments for the loan. All right, and let's say it's this loan right here, right? Remember, always in the beginning of a long-term loan, right, of a fixed long-term loan, just like a mortgage, the monthly payments, most of that amount goes towards paying off the interest first, right? Which means that there's little that's being put toward the principal, right? Which means this, that the balance, like the closer to the beginning of the loan that you are, then the balance of that loan is still very close to what it was originally, right? So let's say a year from now, when I purchased, this car, right? My loan is actually 27,500, right? That's the example we use, right? Because we financed the price of the car and the closing costs. So this is the balance of my loan, of my auto loan, when I drove, when I purchased the car, right? But let's say something happens to let's say the car gets stolen in the month after I buy it, right? But what happens is this: as soon as I leave the dealership with that car, what happens to the value of that car? It goes down. It just depreciates immediately. Okay, so let's say the value of that car is $24,000, right? So somebody steals my car, okay, and I get the insurance involved, and they send an adjuster. Yeah, they have an adjuster basically say, okay, well, the value of your car when it was stolen, yes, you just bought it 1 month ago, but because it's a used car now, all right, the value of the car is really $24,000. Okay, and so what the adjuster is going to recommend to the insurance company is that I get reimbursed the $24,000 because that was the value of the car, right? But I owe 27,500. In fact, just because I've only made 1 month payment, this balance that I have probably is down. I'll just give you an example. Maybe it went down to like 27,000. Let's just say it's 20. So not even 27,000. All right, it probably went down to like $27,300. Okay, that's it. So what does that mean? That means that now, even though the insurance is paying for the value of my car, which is this, all right, I have to pay this amount towards that amount. So the difference between this amount and this amount is $3,300. How am I going to pay that? Gap insurance. That's how you pay it, and that's why that's why I get it. I'm not saying everybody should, but I'm just saying this is why I get it, because just in case you never know. And you know what? Nowadays you need insurance for basically everything, and you know I get gap insurance. Okay, I've never had to use it, but I do know people who have had to use it, and it's been a lifesaver for them. Okay, they would have had to pay out of pocket, much more than $3,300. So the reason why I bring up gap insurance is that not all banks will finance the gap insurance as well. So, for example, let's say of the $35,000 that I was approved to purchase the property, I did this car. That bank says, look, you can only use it for the price and the closing cost. That's it, but not for gap insurance. Okay, well, you know what? So then gap insurance, maybe I got to come out like, $1,200 out of pocket. I think it's less than that. It could be a little bit more. But let's say I have to come out with $1,200 out of pocket. That's still not bad, all right? But if you can include the gap insurance in the financing, great, all right? So let's say it's, $1,200, all right? Right? So then you'd be paying $26,000, for the car, and another $1,500 for the closing costs. And let's say the gap insurance is $1,200, right? So 0, 0, 7, 8. So you're gonna need $28,700 to purchase the car. So with these 3 items, right? But guess what? You're approved for up to $35,000. Now you don't have to, take any money out of pocket at all. Once again, it just depends on the bank. Okay, you may want to contact the bank before they check your credit, right? So speak with your credit union about it. Speak with El Aro, with Capital One Finance. Just ask them if it's something that you could do. All right, and once again, now that you know that your balance is going to be $28,700, do the math, right? Do the I equals PRT. Do the math. Very simple. You could do it on your calculator on your phone, and you know what it's going to be before you go to the dealership and get that car, so you're not surprised. So when that sales rep, says, "Hey, do we got a deal?" You don't feel so damn obligated to be like, yeah, I do. And then you may not, and even if you want to change your mind, and not purchase that particular car, you kind of feel, I don't know, like emotionally, obligated to do it. So anyway, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I had to make this video because I come across a lot of people who have all these hard inquiries, and this video just evolved into this, all right, which I think is very helpful for most people. They just don't know you can do this. So I think that's about it, right? So if anybody has any questions, how to get in contact with me. As the cool kids say, smash that like button, subscribe to the growing YouTube channel that I have, and leave a comment below. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.